Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show.
Loud. Welcome, Wholesale Hotline, number 156. It doesn't matter if you're working on your first deal or you have done dozens of deals, hundreds of deals. There is still something that you're going to get out of this show. I am Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People. Next to me, the king of wholesale.
What's cracking?
Jamil Damji.
Yo, baby.
Here we are. Pace is traveling.
Pace is on the road right now in Texas. Regrettably, I'm not with him. But I heard that he was joined today by Laura and the babies. Mm-hmm. And he's on a tour. He's going to look at 500 units in one town. He's basically looking at a bajillion multifamily units.
Yeah.
He's going all the way through Dallas, Houston, Corpus Christi. And right out through West Texas. So I think he's going to have a great time. So everybody pay attention to Pace's Instagram, because he's going to be telling you guys where in Texas you can actually see him. Again, regrettably, I'm not going to be joining the meetups in Texas. Unfortunately, fortunately, I'm writing a book for Bigger Pockets.
Awesome.
And this is crunch time for me right now. So I spent 5 hours today on a call with my team, dictating, and just getting.
Yeah, how
does
that work?
Well, because here's the deal. I'm not a sit down and typey.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't do that.
Yeah.
But I can talky.
Sure.
Right. So I literally sit down and I say what I want to say, and then they write it, and then I reread it, and then I'm like, no, I don't like how that sounds. So then we rewrite it. So it's me. I'm just not typing it.
Right.
Because I can't do this ghostwriting. You know, you're wholesaling from my perspective has to be told from my perspective.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And so I can't have just some rando coming in trying to take my voice and put something out, which is 90%. Guys, 90% of the books you read in the world of influencers or in the world of people who have, kind of made names for themselves, very rarely do they write their own books.
Well, I did a 52 book in 52 week challenge in 2018.
I remember that.
And it was just repeat. It was the same format. You know what I mean? Give a little bit of instruction, then put in a story that gets everybody, real inspired, and then put in a little bit of instruction, and then put in a story, and then take it back and forth. And it's like, okay, I'm reading the same book over and over and over and over. So I love that you're being authentic with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you need to really, like, it's one of those things that's a legacy thing. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like that book is going to outlive you. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
So it'll be in Barnes and Noble, bro.
Right.
Like, I used to go to Barnes and Noble, and something about the Starbucks in a Barnes and Noble is different than a Starbucks anywhere else.
The best.
Right?
I would read books for free. I mean, I would read a whole book and spend a whole afternoon.
I smell that coffee.
Oh, it's so good.
I'll be drinking my tall soy flat white.
Crispy books, you know?
Crispy books, just enjoying it. Yeah.
So this is a book on wholesaling.
Yeah, it is.
Start to finish.
For those of you who don't know, I've been named the subject matter expert for wholesaling for Bigger Pockets.
Yep.
And for a platform, Bigger Pockets was anti-wholesale for the longest time because they had ethical issues with how the business had been operated.
Sure.
You know, and then what ended up happening is folks like yourself, myself, Pace Morby, we brought legitimacy and ethical standards to our practice, and we actually are here to serve folks and help people. And when we did such a good job of it that Bigger Pockets finally embraced it. And I hear you just actually got to sit down and have your podcast with Bigger Pockets recently as well, right?
Yeah. So that comes out the 23rd. That's going to be really exciting. I was able to share my story there, and they reached out Friday and wanted me to participate more in the YouTube channel. So there we go.
There you go.
There we go. So no, it's really exciting because back in the day it was called bird dogging.
Yeah.
Or back in the day it was called taking over someone's position. Right. And I think that now we have Wholesale Hotline. Now we have, Wholesale Hotline podcast. We got Wholesaling Inc. podcast, and we've got, your To the Moon podcast and Pace's podcast. Get creative. And I think that just the more that we have the ability to not put any guard gates up on to actually how to go out and be successful in this business, I think the more people see that there's value there and then wants to go more mainstream. And I love it. And it should. And I think it's important. I think that wholesaling finally is in a really, really important part in the real estate investing world, and it's here to stay. You know what I mean? And pioneered by yourself. I mean, you guys have done incredible work already with Bigger Pockets, and opened the doors to not only myself but future wholesalers that are coming behind.
And the beautiful thing about it too, guys, is that when we reevaluated the way that wholesaling is defined, right? And I want to just get into this, and we're going to get into Q&A, guys. So start.
Jalen's at Barnes & Noble right now.
I saw that. Right? Isn't that great?
Oh, man.
Smell that Starbucks over there. It's different. It hits different. For those of you that are new or don't really understand what wholesale is, and this is where I see a lot of beginner wholesalers make their error, right? Is that wholesaling only happens when we have potential.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you got to look at a property and you got to see, is there an opportunity to force appreciation? Is there potential in this deal?
Yep.
I use an example in the book of that mansion that I wholesaled that Monique Walker had listed on the MLS for 6 months.
Yep.
She had a mansion in Arcadia, Arizona, here in Phoenix, that it was sitting on an acre of land that she'd been trying to sell for 6 months on the MLS at $900,000. And every person who looked at this property saw this property as a mansion. When I looked at it, I saw an acre of land zoned R6. And that tells me that R16 zoning here in Arizona means that you can put 6 lots on every acre of land. That's R16. 1 acre is 6 lots. And so what I asked her to do, I said, Monique, do me a favor, take this property, delist it from the MLS, let me have it off market, and I'm going to curate this for developers. So I packaged it, and I went and had a pre-application meeting at the city of Phoenix, and I asked, how many lots would you guys approve on this acre of land? And they said 6. And it was a nice linear piece, access right off of 52nd Street and Thomas. And I took it to Mike Zerbib, who is a local developer here. And he saw it, looked at it. He said, I love it.
Yeah.
What's your asking price? $1 million. Done. So not only did the homeowner get the $900K that they were looking for, that they hadn't been able to get on the retail market for over 6 months, Monique Walker got to double end it. She represented me as the buyer's agent. She represented the seller as the seller's agent. So she made a 6% commission on $900,000. I made $100,000 assignment fee, and that developer went and sold 6 houses and made over $1 million in profit. And so when you look at all of the benefiting parties, wholesaling and wholesalers add so much value to the marketplace, bro. And this is what I want everybody to understand. It's this concept of selling potential. Where people get it wrong is, how many times have you been sent a deal from a student and it's like, this house has been remodeled. There's there's no chance to add any value here. Right.
Yeah.
So that they're immediately missing the part where if you look in Brent Daniels' office, neon sign says ugly houses, big check.
That's it.
So essentially what Brent is saying, find the potential. You got the money.
But you know what's beautiful about that story? All of it's beautiful. But the thing that I really pulled is when you started out, you don't know, or when anybody starts out, you don't know how to recognize the potential.
Correct.
But if you have quality conversations with cash buyers, people that are a few stages ahead, or people that have little niches that you can go to because you've had a conversation, you know what they do, you know what their business is, you can go and get educated during a deal. Right now, forever, you know at least what those properties are worth, and you can start targeting your efforts towards those type of properties and matching them up with those types of buyers. But you don't know that if you're trying to do it all yourself. If you're just getting into this business to fix and flip your own little deal and stay in that, or do a house hack type of thing. When you go outside of yourself in your own business and you start talking to all of the people that are doing incredible things, that builds a great foundation for everything else you want to do.
It sure does.
I think you should wholesale the first year. I think that you should understand the market, understand the comps, understand the values, understand what is going on in the minds of people that are a few steps ahead of you, so that you don't go out and you get burned by doing a flip that you lose a bunch of money on, and you get the dumb tax, as it's called. You know what I mean? Where you make all the mistakes and you pay a lot of money for it. You don't have to do that. You can go out right now, find ugly houses, get big checks, and in the same one, build incredible relationships, and two, start recognizing potential in other deals. I think that that's what you and Keegley have really done, is you guys can go, okay, this deal might not, like other wholesalers try to sell that deal and they can't
because they don't understand where the potential
lies.
They
can't recognize the potential because they haven't talked to enough cash buyers. And that's why, when you're getting into real estate, I think that it's really been revolutionized since when we were getting into this back in the early 2000s, where you thought you had to buy rental properties, you had to fix and flip, you had to do all these things to be a real estate investor. And now we know when we go out into the marketplace, find distressed properties or distressed situations, we can really match it up with somebody that recognizes the potential of that property and get a really good education and a really good heavy bank account in the process.
That's what it is, bro.
That's what it is.
We got some great questions here lining up, guys. So make sure you put your questions in the chat. Brent and I are going to rapid fire as many of these as we can. I like this one from Joel Giergal, a longtime friend of Wholesale Hotline. Good to always see you, Joel, in the chat, in the comments. Why don't you take this one, bro?
Yeah. How would you properly wholesale a good multifamily deal? Would you reach out to your buyer, let them underwrite the deal, get their price, and send a LOI to the broker closely in contact with the buyer? So I'm assuming that he's talking about a property that's probably listed, and he's trying to get the buy price out of his cash buyer to then put an offer in. I mean, you're dangerously close to being a buyer broker on this deal.
Yes.
Joel. I mean, obviously you would probably put it under contract yourself and then assign it to your cash buyer, unless you have a license. If you have a license, then you could talk to your buyers. But on-market deals get a little bit trickier in that sense. You would want to negotiate really, you'd want to find out, as much as possible from that listing agent, see if it's been sitting on the market, why it's been sitting on for so long, what's going on with the tenants, how much are they currently making on that property, how much investment needs to go into fixing it up to get the highest market rents for that property to really understand the potential. Yeah, if it's off market, then I would just find out. I would talk to my cash buyer and say, how much are you paying per door in this area? Yep. And then I would start making offers. I would start going after it aggressively.
Yeah. So multifamily is an interesting, it's an interesting business in itself. First and foremost, very small inner circle of buyers for big product.
Right.
And so when I say big product, I'm talking about anything 100 units or more. So typically the agents or the brokers are very familiar with the buyers of those types of situations and deals. So it's really hard not to get backdoored. I'm just saying that. The other aspect of it too is multifamily buyers tend to be a little bit more aggressive and less forgiving of us wholesalers who are trying to profit or curate opportunities for them. And so I remember I had a very crude conversation with a multifamily buyer. It was, I don't know, Bobby might have been there that day or not. I don't remember. But here's what happened. I had this lady buyer who was, in the business of buying multifamily here in Phoenix, and 2 wholesalers who had a potential deal available. And, when we all met on a Zoom, they didn't have the P&Ls. They didn't have a lot of the necessary details, and they didn't control the deal, right?
They didn't have it under.
They didn't have it under contract, right? It was just like, hey, we've been talking to this. We've been talking to this agent, and there's this property, and literally, we were maybe 5 minutes into the conversation. Guys, please forgive me if your children are listening. I'm going to try to say this as PG as possible. She just left the Zoom and texted me and said, y'all can jay each other off for the rest of the afternoon. I'm only talking to people who control the deal. Yep. And so remember that it's that for me is a lesson I'll never forget, that in the world of multifamily, the buyers are very, very, very aggressive and strong, and they really know each other, and the brokers know each other well. So control the deal. And the best way for you to control the deal is squatting up. There are people who will actually help you get deals under contract to put out good EMD, because multifamily, you're going to need some good EMD, at least $10,000 to $20,000 to lock up deals, sometimes significantly more. I was into a multifamily deal with $500,000 as my earnest price. But I also want you to be careful of one thing, Joel. And in this coming market right now, multifamily has a couple of ticking time bombs happening. Multifamily sellers have not yet, for the most part, come to terms with where their properties need to be trading at in order to justify current lending rates. So to give you an example, if a building is selling at a 5 cap, which is where things were really trading at not too long ago, and rates are at a 7%, you're losing money to buy that deal. Hear me again. If a building is at a 5 cap and your rate is 7%, you're actually going to have negative cash flow in that deal. So buildings are needing to sell at much higher cap rates right now, meaning lower prices, in order to justify current lending. And sellers just haven't come to terms with the reality of that. Second, there's a lot of sellers right now who are sitting on bridge loans for deals that they bought at the peak of the market
to refinance.
And exactly. And their hope is to refinance that deal into long-term, or exit that deal and sell it to, a buyer once they've done a value add or a capital improvement. And I'll tell you, the likelihood of those refinances happening are very low. Very, 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 very low.
Well, so because it's a commercial loan. I mean, it's based on the income that you can get compared to what the payment's going to be. If the payment creeps up and the rents stay the same, you don't have a deal anymore.
You do not have a deal anymore.
You're stuck.
Yep.
And it's going to be interesting.
I'd be very careful. Look, what I love about multifamily right now is Pace's strategy of going owner finance, seller finance, and multifamily. If you can get long-term financing from a seller, go, all the power to you. Go get that deal done. Make sure you're having positive cash flow, get good depreciation for future income write-offs, and have a good day of it. But if you're going to commercial lending right now and trying to buy multifamily, just be careful.
Let me ask you this. So Pace is buying a lot of multifamily.
He is.
You and I do not buy a lot of multifamily.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Do you ever think that you will?
That's a great question. I think that
I feel like almost like it's like almost like a badge of honor that you have to have is owning like 100 or 1,000 doors.
Yeah.
But then I talk to a lot of these guys that own 100 and 1,000 doors, and they're like, it's miserable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
hell.
I remember having a conversation with Jerry, and Jerry sold his whole rental portfolio. And he's like, I'm not doing this. This is a whole nother business. I want to live my own life. I don't want to have this thought in the back of my head of all of these properties that I own, or some property management's, reaching out to me, and I always thought about that. But then in the same, I'm like, it's such an incredible, vehicle for wealth. You can really, these are assets that can be around a long time. But then I talk talk to wealth managers and they're like, watch your balance sheet.
Mhm.
Leverage can absolutely crush you. You could lose everything with
Yeah,
leverage.
yeah.
So, I mean, what's your thoughts?
I had a lot
there?
of FOMO, dude.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. And this is where, my relationship with Pace is so valuable because look, no doubt in my mind, he's been winning in his multifamily deals, but he's been doing them all creatively.
Sure.
Right. So good for him. He's doing a fantastic job of it. And he's also learned, however, from some of the best in the business. Like Pace didn't become good at multifamily because Pace just magically woke up one day and understood multifamily.
Yeah.
No, he made relationships with Tim Bratz. He made relationships with Vina Jetty.
Mhm.
He learned from the best in the game, and they taught him how to underwrite and see where there's an actual deal and where there's not a deal.
Mhm.
Right. So I think, will I ultimately own multifamily? Absolutely not. I will always stick to the single family asset class. For me, that's just where I fit.
Yeah.
I love the liquidity that you get with single family. Here's the beautiful thing about single family. Okay, I can sell one house like that.
Mhm.
If I need, something happens to me, I get sick, okay, or I need cash for some purpose or whatever reason, and I need to be able to get money like real fast, I can sell a house.
Yeah.
If I have a single family fund, which I'm actually in the process of creating right now.
Love it.
Because Keegley gets so many good single family deals, we might as well buy those deals, hold those deals in a single family fund.
Mhm.
And if we ever need capital for whatever reason, I can sell a house. I can sell 2 houses. I can sell 3 houses, get my hands on
Look
some
at the
money.
hedge funds. The hedge funds have figured it out.
I think multifamily doesn't give you the same options for liquidity. Like, you got to sell the whole thing, or you got to refinance the whole thing, and getting a commercial loan is about as fun as getting a colonoscopy while you're awake.
Yeah, I just always go back, and we've talked about it on this show a lot, but I always feel like the tippity top of the pyramid in real estate investing is being the bank. You know what I mean?
That's real.
Like the bank. So I bought this building, right? I bought this building. It's a commercial building. The commercial lender is like, yeah, rates are going to adjust. We don't do fixed rate. They don't do fixed rate
on commercial
buildings.
Yeah.
So it's like there's caps as to how much you can go, but they're like telling me what is going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that feels like a boss to me.
Yeah.
It feels like they have control over me in some sense. And I have a prepayment penalty of 3 years.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, I love paying off my real estate. I love just owning it and not even thinking about it, and I know that it's silly and kind of Dave Ramsey-ish, but it makes me sleep well at night. You know what I mean?
We're the same guy in that respect, man. Here's the thing.
But they're like, banks tell everybody what's going to happen. They do.
And when it goes bad, bro, because, I keep having to relive, because I go on a podcast and someone asks me, tell me about your start. Tell me about 2008 and what happened then. And in writing this book right now, I've been having to talk about it. But like, the bank, ultimately, I was doing multifamily development at the time. Okay. I was holding about 40 sub-2s. All of those went upside down on me.
Yep.
I had I was developing condos. I was taking old apartment buildings and redeveloping them into condominiums.
Yep.
Condo conversions. So basically what the bank had said, they gave me my construction loan based off of pre-approvals. I had pre-sold 50% of the building, and they said, we'll give you your construction loan based off these 50% pre-sold pre-approvals, right? Great. All of a sudden, they change their lending criteria. And then they said, hey, Jamil, the construction loan that you have right now, actually, we have to go and requalify all of those buyers that we gave you pre-approvals on because our lending standards have changed with the credit crunch. So don't worry, but we'll let you know how things go. Bro, they requalified almost every one of those buyers. None of them requalified.
Right.
So they said, sorry, but we're calling the loan.
And
so
explain what calling the loan means.
Means that I had to pay the loan off in 30 days.
Right.
I had no option.
Right.
So what do? I start going out there looking for another lender. Every other lender saying, sorry, you only got that loan because of those pre-approvals. None of those pre-approvals are valid any longer because even our lending criteria has changed. We can't do anything for you.
Yeah.
I was into that building and millions of dollars, millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars disappeared in our lives in a matter of months. And there was nothing I could do about it.
Right. And that's just one economic squeeze. I mean, it was a big one, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely incredible. What do I say to a broker so I can be a real estate agent and wholesaler?
Okay.
Houston, Texas. Thank you, brothers. From Eric Sterling.
Well, I would, I mean, you are a great example of what this is. I would let your broker know that you're an agent investor and that you exercise multiple exit strategies in your investment game, right? So you might fix and flip, you might buy and hold, you might wholesale. You could do a number of different strategies on how you'll ultimately make money as an agent and investor. But I think that's how you frame it. You tell your broker, I'm an agent and I'm an investor, meaning sometimes I'll represent somebody. Sometimes I'll be the principal in the deal. I'm versatile. That's it. And if you have a broker who has any issue with that, walk out that door and go to a better brokerage. Yeah,
Eric, 90% of the big box brokerages will not allow you to do it. They won't. I mean, they will, or they'll try to get a percentage of your assignment fee. And a lot of them just don't understand it because you don't represent anybody in the transaction. So it's much different when you wholesale a deal. You're not earning commission. You're actually earning a fee. So it's almost like, it's like you can't, I don't even think you could do it, but like a mobile notary owns a fee, gets a fee of like $150. It'd be like you being an agent and a mobile notary on it, and you get a commission and you get a fee on the closing statement. Would your broker expect to get a fee of your notary business? No, right? They don't get a fee. They don't get a slice of the notary. That's a terrible example. Let me do it this way. Find somebody that has a smaller brokerage that is already wholesaling and doing a lot of investment themselves, and tell them that you want to wholesale and hang your license at their brokerage, and everything will go smooth. If you try to convince your big time Century 21 or Keller Williams or Remax or something that you can wholesale, they're not going to just put together all the paperwork, get all the legal, cover their ass documents together and let you do it. So just work at a smaller brokerage. It happens often,
all the time.
Yeah. But what you'll find is, what
would you say would be the best resource for somebody to find a retail friendly real estate brokerage? I would reach out to the RIAs. I would reach out to the local RIA. I would just Google the RIA and just say, who's the most investor friendly real estate brokerage? I am currently in the process of putting together a new podcast. Funny enough, so good friend of ours, Dina Jones from Fidelity National Title, right?
Love Dina.
Yeah, she's so wonderful.
Yeah.
She just was promoted to the top brass in all of Fidelity National Title across the country.
Okay.
For investor business.
Love it.
Okay.
Yep.
So Fidelity Title has decided that they are no longer going to just be a retail title company, that they are going to aggressively go after and seek wholesalers to do business with and creative finance people to do business with. They'll do wraps. They'll do servicing. So guys,
they have to. If they don't, an online title company will come around and gobble it up.
Yep.
For real.
So we are going to be having a new podcast where every 2 weeks we're going to talk about the paperwork behind specific kinds of deals, how to create that document, how the title company wants it seen. What are some of the ways that you might get burnt? You know how many folks I've talked to in the last 6 months that have that have earnest money in dispute right now because of mutual cancellation clauses and contracts that they hadn't strucken out. And you're in a state trying to wholesale, and all of a sudden it's a mutual cancellation clause on your contract, and your seller is acting like a D-bag and they won't release your EMD now. And you got your EMD from a Gator lender who is like, hey, where's my money? And now they're mad at you and you're mad at you, and title company wants to put you in arbitration for it. And it's just this big hostile situation. Well, we're going to show you guys how to get out of those
Love
types
it.
of spots and put you in situations with title companies where you're not going to have to deal with that kind of BS.
Brandon, what would you do if you had nothing except a phone and a laptop? I would shake your hand and say, congratulations. It's all you need. That's what I would do. Like literally, I wish everybody would start this way.
Yeah,
I
agree.
really do.
Yeah.
There was this, my dad went to this like men's church retreat thing this weekend, and it was all about that saying that like hard times create hard men, right? Hard men create good times, or let me get this right.
I think good
You know what I'm
times
talking
create
about?
weak men.
Yes.
Right.
That's that. You're going down it. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Weak men
basically,
create hard times.
right.
Hard times create good men, and that's the cycle.
Yeah.
And we can put, men and women and
People.
and people. It doesn't. We're not just talking
Hard
about
times
dudes.
create strong people.
Yeah.
Strong people create good times. Good times create weak people.
Yeah.
Weak people create hard times.
Yep.
And the reason I bring that up is, and this is something that I want to talk at your mastermind about. I want you to go through the grind.
Yes.
I want you to go like fist fight for deals and like challenge everything about yourself. You know what I mean? Because if you want to be something that you're not, that requires change. Change hurts. You have to earn it. And when you earn it, you build an actual strong business. If the business is too easy off the bat, it never lasts. It never lasts. I know so many people that have gotten a deal in their first or second appointment, or the first or second, phone call, and then they don't do any business for like 6 months because they're just living off it. I want it to be. You came here to Arizona with a cell phone and a laptop.
That's it.
And look at it all. Right? I lost absolutely everything. I had an old computer that my mom gave me and a BlackBerry phone, and I burned that thing up forever. And I was on that thing forever. And I'm telling you, when you have a lot of conversations about real estate, your whole company is stronger for it. The people that you bring into your world, that you start replacing certain roles in your daily life with, understand and respect that you went in and you went through those hard times. And I think it makes you have a stronger foundation for your business. And I think that it's way longer lasting to really go through those tough times. Because nitty gritty, you could just get back on the phone. Nitty gritty, you could just go. You know what I mean? And if you instill that as the seed of your business, everybody else understands that.
If you look at the three of us, okay?
Yeah.
From our Wholesale Hotline crew, Brent went to zero,
Yep.
negative,
Yep.
okay? And then built himself into Mr. TTP, world known, highly respected, top wholesaler, and everybody loves you, right? And that came from being like below negative.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Negative. I mean, even would be good.
Yeah.
$1 million in the hole is a lot tougher.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Right. We talk about Pace Morby. Okay.
Mhm.
Pace Morby ends up being bankruptcy filed on him by Voldemort.
Mhm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically is in the hole $1 million.
Yep.
Okay. Myself lose over $12 million in earned income, get down in debt 1.8 million, which I paid back, by the way, which I actually paid back. So 1.8 million in the hole, you're $1 million in the hole, Pace is over $1 million in the hole. Each of us climb out of that situation and become 10 times better through it.
With this thing.
With this thing. Yeah.
I mean, I think I don't think that I saw you in front of a computer for years. You would see a deal on your phone and boop, 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 boop. I want it.
That's why I was the fastest. Like I started having to wait a couple of minutes before I would actually go out and chase a deal. Cause I knew that if I called you too soon, or if I called your team too soon, then you guys would realize that you might've left money on the table.
Sure.
And so like I had to start like reverse psychologying you guys and like wait, let some time pass so that I could actually not have y'all get pissed off that you underpriced the deal. Because all of a sudden I buy a deal from Brent, and then 2 weeks later he's fired the guy who put that deal out because he's like, this guy sucks. If Jamil's buying deals from us, that means that we're not pricing these things right. Am I wrong, or am I right a little bit?
No,
you didn't fire people, but
no.
But when I did end
Billy
up buying
evolved,
when I ended up buying a deal from you, you all probably looked at each other and said, we messed up.
Well, you know what it was is we worked a lot with Iman, where you really that connection that you guys had, on comping properties and going after properties really fast. I was like, holy cow, yeah, I just in the beginning I thought you guys were the only buyers. I was like, yeah, okay, here we go.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then we stopped doing. I think they stopped putting their phone number on the emails to slow it down. Yeah, it was wild. Yeah, but we still did a lot of business. Still did a lot of business.
And I again.
There was a point where my acquisition managers would literally just reach out to you guys for a buy price.
Yeah,
so
we did a lot of work together, and of course I owe a lot of the fact that I even have a public brand to one of the first podcasts that anybody ever put me on was Brent Daniels podcast, and he came into our little office at Keighley.
That's a great video.
And you basically exposed to the entire country what was happening in that small little 2,000 square feet, and our lives were never the same again.
Awesome,
right? So so much has happened between us, guys. Keep the questions rolling in. Brent and I are happy to go.
Guys, remember,
rapid fire.
3 parts to this business. 3 parts: lead generation, conversion of those leads into a signed agreement, and then disposition. All right. And you can generate leads in 3 ways. Okay. You can buy leads. You can buy conversations, people to call you. It's called marketing. You can go out and get on the phone and call people or text people or door knock. And that is being super proactive, and you're initiating those conversations. You can also build up an incredible reputation like Jamil's talking about and has done, where people know that you're the guy that they send their ugly houses to, the deals that they need cash offers on, that is getting referrals. So there's 3 main ways to go out there and find really great opportunities. Focus on one and go deep. Go deep, go deep, go deep. Go after them and find your method that you're going to go out and find those opportunities. And that all starts. That's the engine of your business. That's what really gets the wind behind your sails and starts building that momentum so that you can go on appointments, so that you can get some reps sitting down with property owners and getting them to sign the agreement. And then from there, you sell those deals to cash buyers and you earn a fee. Don't overcomplicate this business. Just find the way that you want to do it. Astro Flipping does an incredible job of going out and building the reputation in the marketplace of people sending you deals. Yeah. It's the most profitable way. Yeah. Without a doubt, it's the most profitable way to get business coming in. When people are starting that out, do you have a goal? When people are first coming to you, they're like, Jamil, I've never made a call to anybody in my life, but I want to get people to send me deals. How do you have a certain goal of amount of people? Is it amount of time? Is it like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, is it hours of calls that you make? Is it go to these networking things? Like what is the first steps from somebody that wants to learn like an Astro Flipping type strategy? How do they get started with that?
Great question. So, in Astro, the key, and again, we do have a small portion of direct to seller.
I get it.
Right?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
We'll do probates and things like that.
Yeah.
That happens. But the majority of the business that we do is zero marketing, right? Zero marketing dollars.
Right.
And there's specific verticals. So the first one is wholesaler deals. Okay. The second one is on market.
Explain wholesaler deals. What does that mean?
Okay. Wholesaler deals are where you're working with other wholesalers who have a deal under contract and are looking for a buyer.
Love it.
And there's a ton of those guys out there. If I go into any, like for instance, Pace and I were in Louisiana last week or over the weekend, and I asked the room, it was a small room of 100 investors that were there. How many of you guys have an active deal for sale right now? And 33% of the room put their hand up. They had all had, about a third of the room had a deal available. And I said, great. How many of you guys right now have a buyer looking for a deal right now. About half the room put their hand up, right? and I said, you guys see how easy this is? That if you guys all just each literally came in and started having conversations with one another, you could connect the dots in this room, and all of you could be walking out of here with an opportunity or a check.
Yep.
And it's really that simple. So wholesaler deals, again, I think it's the lowest hanging fruit, but it can require a little bit more time.
Okay.
Because brand new wholesalers notoriously overprice their deals, first and foremost. Secondly, they're notorious with bad comps and not really having locked up a good deal. And so here's what you'll find ends up happening in that vertical, okay? You will start reaching out to wholesalers, and the best places to find them are networking events, Facebook groups, online things like Wholesale Hotline, Paces Get Creative. You do your show on Wednesdays.
Yep.
Straight out of comp, and coming to like live things where there's going to be hundreds of people where you can network in the comments and whatnot. That's a great place. Showing up to online events, going to anywhere that you can see, like if they do a virtual event, I'll typically tell my team, okay, hey, let's go physically. Like for instance, Ryan Pineda had an event out in Vegas, right? 2,000 real estate investors live, plus another 2,000 real estate investors virtually, right? The virtual ticket was like $100. The physical ticket was a couple $100. If you're a business and you've got $500 to spend, right? What I would say is one of us is going to go here live and network our booties off the entire time, just collecting information, making connections, and talking to people, not trying to take pictures with the influencer speaking, but instead really just trying to get to know as many people as I can in the audience. And then the other one of my people in my business are going to be in the online virtual attendance and just connecting with folks in the chat there, right? There's so much opportunity there. So that's where you're going to meet a lot of wholesalers.
Do you ask, where do you do business?
Yeah, well, I'll just say,
do you have any deals?
Yeah, hey, you're a wholesaler? I noticed you're in this Facebook group. There's so many Facebook groups, guys, for wholesalers in different every market has its own. Like there's a Phoenix wholesaler. There's a Phoenix Fix and Flip group. There is Wholesaling Houses Full-Time, Wholesaling Houses Elite, Wholesale Hotline's got a great pop-in Facebook group. My Astro Flipping has a public Facebook group. Pace Morby has Creative Financing by Pace Morby. You've got a TTP Wholesaling Inc. group.
Wholesaling Inc. Yep.
So you've got all these Facebook groups with large masses of people in it, right? You can network and communicate there. So you don't ever lie and be like, hey, I'm an end buyer and I'm gonna buy your house. No, because people get pissed off when you don't tell them who you are. Say, listen, I'm a wholesaler. I've got access to buyers. Do you have any deals that you need help moving right now? Let me take a look.
Awesome.
And they send you what they got. Now, your job is to honestly look at the deal and see, is there a true deal here? Now, guys, 9 out of 10 are going to be actual manure. Okay, you're going to get sent 9 out of 10 properties that you're going to get sent are manure. But that doesn't mean that the people who sent you those deals are manure. It means that they just didn't do it right the first time. So what's your goal is to then say, hey, look, first, did I miss something? Is there a comp that you saw that I didn't see? So make sure that you haven't just said this deal sucks, but it really might be a good deal. So find the fundamentals and comp. Then next time, say to them, hey, look, I think you might have locked this one up too high. I don't know that I'll be able to help you on it unless you've got, room on it. Then all of a sudden you find out they say, yeah, actually, I sent it to you at $299, but I actually have it under contract for $150. You're like, hold on a second. You're trying to make $150,000 assignment fee on this? Well, I didn't know. It's my first deal. I'm trying to just get it done. So you find out, is this person like on Mars or are they like really trying to sell a deal here? Right.
And is there room?
And is there room?
Yeah.
Second, if they just did it wrong and they comped it wrong, next time they go out, say, look, I'm a high value person. I'm not going to go around you. I'm not going to go behind you. My word is true. Let me help you next time before you go out and contract something. Let me give you a buy price.
Yeah.
And that's what Keegley has fundamentally changed the game on, because you can reach out to any Keegley office in any one of our franchise locations or our corporate stores, get a buy price and go know what price to lock something up at.
That's it.
Second way that we do business, right, is on market. So we're going to look at on market opportunities, things that are just freshly listed that are priced well, or things that have been on the market for, and this is leading me into Marcellus's question, is how do you go about wholesaling houses on the MLS? What formula should you use when wholesaling in premium markets like Southern California? Is it 70% minus repairs still relevant? Yeah, yes. Look, maximum allowable offer is going to change market to market. Okay. Right now, I think 70% minus repairs in SoCal, you might be a little aggressive. For me, I think I like to just look at houses and say, I'm not going to minus repair. And you and I have done this back and forth, and we come up to the same numbers every time. I look at it cosmetic or full gut. If this is a cosmetic, I'm going to be at a certain percentage of ARV. And if it's a full gut, I'm going to be at a certain percentage of ARV. And that's going to take into consideration the repair costs, okay? So yes, that will still be viable, but being on the MLS now means that you need to be priced below MLS list price. And it doesn't matter. I've had so many people send me an MLS listed house where the numbers make sense, but it's been listed on the market for like 2 months. Yeah. It's listed at $120K, and you've sent it to me at $129.9, thinking I can do something with that. I can't. And the reason for it is that there's buyer perception. Buyer perception still matters. Buyers still want to feel like they got a deal. So you've got to be significantly below MLS list price. And I know some of you will have the argument, yeah, but if it's a real buyer, the numbers don't matter. If a deal is a deal, it makes sense. The numbers pencil out. Yeah. Facts is that the high likelihood you're going to cancel that deal because buyers are going to see, what did you do special that I couldn't have done myself? You got to go there and get something under contract at a discount. So be very mindful, Marcellus, that when you're locking up deals online that are on the MLS, that you have a good gap between MLS list price and where you're going to be selling it at. And then the last way that we get our deals, sorry, I'm taking up so much time here.
I love it.
But it's agent off market. This is where we are messaging or talking to real estate agents, finding out if they have any ugly original condition or tremendously distressed properties coming to market that haven't been listed yet that you can take a look at. Now, those will typically take anywhere between 8 and 13 touches of follow-ups in order for you to actually be sent an address and get those deals under contract. But here's the beautiful thing about them. They're off market. Now you've got an off market deal.
This is when you get the big one.
These are the big checks. Okay. That's where the big checks come, right? So you got on market, wholesaler, off market, agent outreach for off market opportunities. And those strategies, my friends, necessarily free. And they've made me multi-millionaire.
Yeah. I have this YouTube video where I draw a bunch of circles, and on the outside is the number 143 million. That's how many residential units we have in the United States. And then below that, I have 50. And that is the amount of off-market properties that, and this is if you want to build a 7-figure wholesaling business that is run by mostly other people. And so you get it to the point where you have between 200 and 500 conversations to get a deal, depending on if you're making the calls or if somebody else is making the calls for you to get 50 deals. Okay, let's do an average deal size of 10 grand, right? That's $500,000. And then under that, in the next circle is 25. And that's the 25 referral partners. That's 25 people that you build a relationship with trust, and they know to bring you deals that they give you just one deal a year. And you know, you've got probably 25 that bring you 10 deals a year.
Oh, yeah.
But just bring you one deal a year. That gets you to 75 deals between those two at an average of average of $10,000. That's $750,000 right there.
It's insane.
Right there.
Yes.
Just from that. And I just, it's just, the numbers don't have to be gigantic.
No.
The numbers don't, you just need 25 incredible referral relationships to make an unbelievable income. And listen, if you just wanted to build those 25 and the market you are in something like Phoenix where the average deal size is 20, That's $500,000 that you make off of having 25 conversations a year.
Right. And let me tell you something. We haven't talked about it yet, but next week I'm announcing a software that I'm a partner in.
Come on.
It's called the Astro Blaster.
I love it.
And what it is I partnered with a very, very intelligent astro flipping community member.
Yes.
Who linked in with who basically tapped into open source AI.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all of his agent outreach now is automated through AI conversations.
Yeah.
So this literally bro, he has a full day. This guy's in high school.
Yeah.
Okay. Andy Wrong makes $50,000 a month right now.
Mm-hmm.
All of his conversations are automatically happening without him even needing to be involved in them.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, he just gets sent a text message when he gets an address.
Mm-hmm.
And the robots are doing all of the communicate. The agents have no idea they're even talking to robots. Okay. All of a sudden, he gets sent an address. He comps the address. He says to his teacher, "Hey, I got to go do poo-poo." He comps a deal in the bathroom, sends a buy price, lets the rest of the AI have the conversation. Kid generates $50,000 a month in income. And the only thing is his parents said, "Jamil, just make sure he finishes high school."
Yeah.
As long as you promise that he finishes high school, y'all go take over the world.
What does he have? Like a semester left?
Yeah, he's so close. So Astro Blaster is on its way out, guys. Awesome. We'll let you guys know when it's all done and ready to come out and be used by the entire world. But it's gonna be fantastic, man. And I'm sure that there's a way that we're gonna be able to
100%.
implement that for direct to seller conversations too. So there'll be a TTP blaster on its way very, 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 very soon.
That's bananas.
It's bananas.
I know it's so bananas. I'm just so excited. I'm so excited about, being able to get in a position where, you strip away all of the fears, all of the doubts, all of the distractions, and you just be able to focus on real deals, real comping them, and building real relationships. Because at some point, you're going to have to go outside of the AI and have that conversation with the agent and really build it. But that's a nice way to filter it down to 25 people instead of taking 5 years.
Well, it's all these. Here's the thing, right? It's like, how do we solve the problem of the W-2?
Yeah.
Because that's the issue. We've got so many people in here that are a part of this wonderful community that like, for instance, Tabitha, right? Tabitha, she's an Astro community member. She's a full-time nurse. Well, she was a full-time nurse. Now she's making more money than the doctors that she works with. But she uses this and again, when you're in that time, when you got the golden handcuffs and you're at a W-2 that pays you just enough money to stay. Yeah. But you need out. You know that you got to do something different with your life because you hate that job. And it's like you go there and every day you go there, you feel like you're getting your soul sucked out of you. This is the way out.
I love it.
We get something that can help you do a lot of the heavy lifting for you automated. But then when it comes time to actually have the conversation, you've been equipped with the right words. You've been equipped with the right understanding. You learned how to comp. You know the fundamentals of what a deal looks like. And away you go. Beautiful. So cool.
Tabitha
is amazing. There's a question for you.
I'm a wholesaler based in Minnesota learning the game and was wondering what would your first steps starting out would be before cold calling? Well, I assume you mean, I don't know if this is mental or if this is like real instructional. So I don't know if it's a mindset. So we'll play it both ways. First thing first, make sure that you find somebody that is going to make calls to. All right. They're in right now. There is somebody that you can connect with, whether it be on a FaceTime call or a Zoom call or something else. Don't be alone. Step number one, and you guys have really taught me this, and it's really is number one is community and guide, right? Like, don't reinvent it and don't do it alone. That is number one fundamental before you get started with anything that we talk about on this show, right? is make sure that you have a community and you have a guide so that you can go and implement right away. All right. And that's going to get you in the right mindset. Make sure that you're standing up, make sure that you understand that your tone of voice is your body language on the phone, and get excited about it. Have some energy to what you're doing. Next is find ugly houses. Find ugly houses. Name, address, phone number of an ugly house.
What are your favorite direct to seller lists? Because look, guys, as much as I clown, okay, and I clown because I'm a clown. I enjoy joking. I enjoy laughing that my cost per contract is $0.
Right.
But I am going to, and I'm always going to say, direct to seller marketing and cold calling works.
Yeah.
It
somebody
works.
has to do it.
Bro, and it makes thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. You've got a small team here pulling in how much a month typically on average?
150, 170.
Okay, yeah, just like that.
Yep.
And I'm not kidding you guys. It's a tiny little team he's got. Just a tiny little team. Four people pulling in, just shy of $200K a month in income.
Yeah.
Okay.
1.7-ish, 1.8.
And what's your favorite list to call?
A couple different. Number one is driving for dollars. Easy peasy. Anybody can do it. They're ugly houses. They have to sell for cash. Their alternative is they have to sink a bunch of money into their properties, which they don't have. And so at some point they have to sell it to somebody like us because a bank won't finance it. A bank won't finance it for a regular buyer because the properties are in too rough a condition. So that's just like getting warmed up, starting to build up your momentum in this business. I really like tired multifamily, but not the big stuff. I like the stuff that's duplex to fourplex.
Okay.
It's fantastic. We just sold 3 duplexes, and phenomenal deal. Just made 60,000, and there's a ton of potential right there, and a lot of. It's interesting. We're talking, we have like 3 or 4 on the hook right now, Jamil, all real estate agents. Why do you think they're selling their multifamily right now?
Tired, bro.
And they don't have any money.
Because everybody went out. Listen, March of 2022, they all got that fancy new Tesla.
Yep.
They got that fancy new BMW M4.
Those Porsches. What are those big Porsches?
Those Taycans.
That's it.
And all of a sudden, the phone stopped ringing.
Yeah.
And Bill still got to get paid. So they're selling off the stuff that they had bought and really just kind of doing what they got to do to survive at the moment. But you guys can be the solution. Love
probate, love code violation lists. We've actually been going down to the actual cities and getting code violation lists.
Is it a little bit better when you go directly to the city because it's not been picked over yet?
It's night and day. By the time that it usually gets it from some other service, it's like 90 days, 120. Right? If you go to the the neighborhood services department in your city, you can go and get code violation lists, and it's a lot. I mean, these are robust lists, and you can really, really go and just target those, and that could be just where you start. And really, I mean, those are free. They'll give you those for free.
Yeah.
And so you just have to get the phone numbers or door knock them. Phenomenal list. We don't do much with pre-foreclosures, a little bit here and there. We have bought the Audantic list. They're data scientists out of Seattle. They give you the most likely people to sell at a discount, and that's cyclical. Some quarters it's like gold, some quarters it's doo-doo, you know what I mean? So that plays, but you really don't have to overthink it when you get started. You just have to find an ugly house.
I love it. Driving for dollars.
And then when we find it, we bring it to the people that have the cash buyers.
Right. And just
until you build up your cash buyer database yourself, or you
always JV. Like
you can.
There's so many. Here's what I've also seen happen, right? A lot of people, they become successful at acquisitions, and then they rely on, by the way, guys, I got about 130 of you just on my channel, and 4 of you have hit the like button. So let's fix that. Okay. Just smash the like button. It helps the algorithm. It's a nice thing to do. Secondly, back to what I was saying, when you are just getting started, right? When you're just getting started, we know the metric is that 70% of people will typically get their first deal driving for dollars.
Yeah, 80%
of people will get their first deal driving for dollars.
Yep.
And so, guys, like, that's a real thing. Drive around your neighborhood and take photos or make notes of properties that are that have overgrown weeds, that have mail piling up. You know, get an app. Get a Driving for Dollars app. I think right now Batch Leads has it included in their platform. You could use Deal Machine. We know Deal Machine's always been a solid Driving for Dollars app. I don't have any affiliate or any way to, but I'm sure you do.
TTP. It's the biggest discount they have. Deal Machine, use coupon code TTP.
Go to Deal Machine. Discount. Go to Deal Machine, use code TTP and drive for dollars while you're out there in the world.
You can do it virtually. I mean, a lot of people, you know, I have some incredible students in Israel, and they will just virtually drive for dollars using Google Maps. And they'll get a big list of properties, or they'll have like their kids do it. You know what I mean? They're like 12 to 16-year-olds do it after school or whatever. And either as part of chores or pay them hourly, and they build up a nice list, and they just skip Tracy, get the phone numbers and call them.
Easy peasy.
That's it. And then you find out, when do you plan on selling this property? And then you go through the process of pre-qualifying them to make sure that, you know, it's somebody that would potentially do business with you. And then you lock it up. And if you need help selling them,
get a hold of a Keegley. One of my favorite lists is the empty nester list. I get that one from Batch Leads, and that's where I look at homeowners that are 45 years or older that live in a property that is 4 bedrooms or larger, that are 2,000 square feet or larger, and have 2 stories. It is a really small niche list, and you don't spend a tremendous amount of money getting that list. But that list, guys, it is a cheat code. It is a cheat code. There are so many deals on that list going direct to seller. It's like, it's phenomenal. Anytime I pull that list, and every once in a while do a challenge. I'll be doing another challenge with the Batch folks here pretty soon. And that will be the list that I target, because the empty nester list, again, it's one of my favorites.
It's awesome.
But thank you for sharing that. So you
listen, you don't have to get overcomplicated. I mean, the more that there's a bazillion YouTube videos on pulling, you know, different lists using PropStream or Batch Leads or whatever it is. So you can do that. The number one thing is, like, take action. So I had the author, the co-author, one of the co-authors, Bob Berg of The Go Giver, on my show Wednesday. Right?
Congrats. That'll be fun.
It was awesome. I had him on last Wednesday.
Had him on last Wednesday.
And he said something that really sticks to me. He goes, action precedes feelings. And he goes, if you only do what you feel like, you're never going to succeed. Right? Because if you're waiting around till you feel great to pick up the phone, it's going to be a long time. If you feel like, you know what I mean? If you're going to only wait until you feel like really powerful to go network with people, you're going to wait for action before the feelings, right? It doesn't matter what you feel like doing. It matters on what are your goals, how are you going to get there, and what actions are you going to take. And I thought that was really, really, really powerful, because it makes sense to me. Like, just take the action and see how your feelings start, what happens when you actually start taking the action, what happens to your feelings, because then all of a sudden you get more confident, and then you start going out there and you start really making an impact. And I love that. So, I mean, don't overthink it is all I'm saying.
Just do it. And like, bro, it's funny, right? That we have let ourselves become prisoners of comfort.
Sure.
And it's interesting that our brains are hardwired to create thoughts that will actually stop us from expending too much mental energy.
Sure.
Because evolutionarily, our bodies are meant to conserve energy.
Sure.
Because when we walked out of the cave in the, early Homo sapiens, we'd walk out of our caves and there would be a saber-toothed tiger ready there to eat our butts and kill us, right? Or a warring tribe or something there. Actually, like, dying was like a real thing that could just happen on a Wednesday, right? And so we are physiologically designed to create thoughts that will conserve energy. So when you create a thought that conserves energy, what does that typically do? It probably gives you an excuse. It probably tells you what to procrastinate. It probably gives you, or it attaches onto an emotion that is of low energy, that is unmotivating, that's keeping you from actually driving and doing a thing that's necessary for your advancement.
That's why I say the dumbest people make the most money.
Yeah, because they just say, F it. I'm just going to do it.
I'm going to just call this person.
Yeah.
I'm going to just go knock on that door.
Yeah.
I'm going to just go meet that person over there.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it, and I don't mean like unintelligent. I just think that they're not burdened with all of the paralysis by analysis and perfectionism and procrastination. They're just going out there and they're just taking action before they have any feelings about it. You know what I mean? It's powerful. I love it.
We got Jordan Isaac asking a question here. Jordan asked, how would you structure a JV agreement with a mentor for your first deal? I have leads on houses and buyers, so I'm just trying to figure out how to structure the contracts. So what are your thoughts here, Brent?
Well, I think that he's putting a lot. I mean, I don't know why. If you've got the buyers and the houses,
what are you trying to
like
get anybody else?
Go
in
take
there?
a piece of paper and just write up a contract and let the title company sort it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't need somebody to walk you through the paperwork necessarily. And if you do, we have a ton of videos. I think we all have videos on breaking down the contract. I certainly do on my channel on how to fill out a purchase contract and where to get a purchase contract. And then you can just go and lock up the deal and put it in front of your buyers. So I don't know. I think that, there is sometimes I think that people think that that's their only way into like meeting a mentor is by like, hey, can you help me do the paperwork on this deal?
Or how many times, and I don't say this to be rude, and please guys don't misinterpret my statement here, but I probably get on average 10 to 15 messages a day that say, hey, I want to learn how to wholesale, and I'm going to give you, half my deal if you show me what to do.
Right.
And unfortunately, I'll be honest with you guys, right? That is not a deal structure that has any interest in me.
I tried it a lot of times, Jamil.
It doesn't work.
I tried it in 2017
I
when
used to do that all the time too.
Never works out.
Bro, ever.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about it is that when somebody is not willing to put skin in the game, if somebody is not willing to invest in themselves, they are going to burn your time. I have,
especially now when everything's out,
bro.
Everything's out. You could go on YouTube and podcast and get every single step to this thing.
Yes, and here's the other part: if you are looking at Astro Sub 2 TTP as a course, you got it wrong, bro. These are communities.
Starts with community.
It is community. If you talk to John Galan, you talk to Helena Wu, any of Michelle Garabito, anybody who's doing business numbers in our community, and like for instance, John did 12 deals last month. 11 of them were with other Astro students.
Yeah.
Helena has 9 deals in escrow right now. I believe all 9 of them are with other Astro students. Right. So it's just you got to stop thinking of things in terms of, oh, I want to save a few $1,000s here. You got to look at it in terms of, how do I go and connect to a network of action takers, people who have what I'm looking for? Like,
I paid $68,000 a couple weeks ago to join a group that are doing more than me. You know what I mean? And it's like, holy cow. Like, and I didn't even second like none of it. I spent a ton on all sorts of different coaching, whether it be religious, whether it be working out and exercising, whether it be people that look at my blood and make sure that I'm going to live okay. You know what I mean? Like, all of these things really matter. And it's just, you gotta, I don't know. There's got to be investment. I think that there's got to be skin in the game.
I've had 2 people out of all of my friends and family that I've ever been able to give access to. Because again, I don't own, there's a publishing company involved in Astro Flipping, right? That helped me put it out.
Yeah.
And so I still have to, when I wanted to have a couple family members and friends come in, I actually invested for them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that it didn't cost the publisher any money to bring them in.
Yep.
Out of there's probably about 15 people in total that I've granted access to and actually paid money to have them be a part of it. Bro, 2.
Right.
2 of them have done anything with it. 13 others,
Yep.
not even opened it.
Right.
Not even started.
Mm-hmm.
2 people, and one of them is probably watching today's wholesale hotline.
Awesome.
Albaro DLS out of Calgary or Edmonton, Alberta. I grew up with this guy, so he came from the same sort of background and situation as me. Made over $100,000 in astro flipping in his first 30 days.
Yep.
Because he just took action and he realized what a blessing it was.
Well, and being in an environment that is super proactive, you leaders start rising to the top that are providing the most value. I've got Carlos Ruiz, who is incredible. I've got Nick Hamrata that is doing amazing things. I've got Nathan Payne is going bananas.
I mean,
I've
didn't
got
you
Stephanie
train?
Hunt.
You trained one of the nation's greatest cold callers, I think, that ever exists. Luke
Pace Morby?
Rothwald.
Oh no, Luke. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Pace too. I mean, Pace was TTP.
I know.
He says it all the time.
I know.
But Luke
No,
Rothwald,
Luke is.
I think he would be considered
Yes.
the greatest cold caller
Yep.
In our time. And he's a TTP alum.
I'll tell you what, Billy Bell, it was an Astro has gone bananas, totally unside, but he travels 210 days a year.
Yeah.
And he made 780,000 last year.
Insane, dude. Insane.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, with that mustache.
I know. Well, he's like super handsome. So.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Guys, keep the questions coming. We're
just bragging on some of our incredible.
We are happy to answer anything that you might have, whether it be wholesale related, whether it be partnerships, whatever your questions are, we are happy to answer them. And make sure that you guys are networking with each other in the chat. Here's a question from Sean Derringer. Hey, guys. I'm in Kentucky with a master commissioner auction coming up.
Okay.
Owner is deceased with no heirs. They purchased the property in 93, tons of equity. How do I get this deal before the sale? I appreciate you so much, Brent and Jamil. What are your thoughts here, bro?
I mean, you got to. I mean, if there's literally no heirs, I would go to the title company and I would say, who owns this? I'd have them pull title and say, does anybody own this? Is there anybody that has any connection to this property at all? And that's the first thread that I would pull. And then if there's nobody, then I would talk to whoever's in charge of the auction and see what the opening bid is and see if there's somebody that bids at those auctions.
Somebody is benefiting from the property going to auction, right? Is it
could
a
be the
lender
city?
putting?
I mean, it could be the state.
Could be the state.
Yeah, it could be the state. Yeah, the state would get the proceeds.
There is a Keegley franchise directory.
Nice.
The way that you would actually access who is active, because just because a Keegley franchise or somebody owns a Keegley franchise, not all of them are super active, or not all of them are like trained up yet. And so the best way to get connected with the best Keegley for your specific situation is to send me a DM on IG, and Nino has a list where that's updated daily, so that you'll always be connected to the right people. But I mean, it's a really cool thing. I've got today one of our franchises just bought their 3rd unit, and that a business model is going well.
They bought a 3rd territory?
Yeah.
Awesome.
When you've got multiple franchises buying multiple territories, and they're starting to really get strongholds. Like Fred Gamble now has a franchise in every market in Texas. Cody out of Minnesota just picked up a franchise in Jacksonville, Florida. He also has one in Dallas, Texas as well. So I'm just watching these multiple franchise owners crush it. Colby Amerman has Ohio and Vegas. I mean, guys, this is it's just phenomenal watching the growth and the explosion.
Is there a site that they could just go and be able to see if there's somebody in their market?
The best way is to DM me. The most active and
for the directory.
Yeah, because again, you will always have you'll have more luck getting information from my team that's real time.
Yeah.
And
nice.
DM me on IG. It's just at J Damji. If you're not following me there, that's where it'll be.
Awesome. Guys, great show. It's been fun with you,
It's
brother.
been, bro. I'm like, I don't ever want it to end. Someone was asking about what a microflip is. A microflip is really just connecting the dots between an acquisition wholesaler and a disposition wholesaler, right? Meaning that you don't even have to have the buyer. You can just get a deal from somebody who concentrates on AC and then connecting the dots to a Keegley franchise and getting an option and connecting those two dots with each other and making a quick $5,000 or $10,000. And I see that happen with folks over and over and over and over and over again. In fact, Billy Bell does that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's micro flipping all the time.
Yes.
Billy Bell's a dispo wholesaler,
Mm-hmm.
but he'll also get contracts from other AC wholesalers and dispo their deals and, runs a Keegley style model. And
he does all these.
Yeah, crushes
He does all these. Yeah. Wholesaler deals on market and agent off market. I mean, that's the bread and butter. Travis, where can I find some people willing to let me listen in on them cold calling so I can hear live dialogue, so I can get some confidence in calling myself? So we did one in January. We'll do one in February, where we do a Super Saturday, Travis, where people jump on and make calls. I make the calls. Luke Rotfold makes calls. We bring in people that have made a lot of calls so that you can hear us. Check out the video. Check out the, I think we posted it last Thursday of me making calls. Check that out. I also do a lot of cold call breakdowns, but just look for any updates on Super Saturdays. And if you go to wholesalinginc.com and just submit your email, it'll keep you updated on when we do these events. And it was a lot of fun. We talked to a lot of people. I was live. I was probably making calls for about an hour and a half and talked to, I think it was like 17 different people and got a couple leads from it. It was great, but definitely watch that replay, but don't let that hold you back, Travis. I mean, join us for sure, but don't let that hold you back from going out and making calls. And even if you have to go with a list to like a meetup or something, I think that would be awesome if you had a list of like 10 ugly houses with the phone numbers and the owners' names, and you guys just went down and just called them with each other right there and just didn't even think about it. Remember, just be dumb. Just don't let that like stop you. Don't let that block you. Don't let the action precedes feelings. You know what I mean? That. Right now you're feeling like, you're not confident, but just take the action and watch what happens. You'll blossom. I promise.
Nikisha Hines said, is there anybody from Ohio? I'm in Cleveland looking to get my first deal and I want to JV with somebody. I'm actually going to give you a phone number online right now. There's 500 people watching, but I don't care. Jameson is my franchise owner in multiple markets.
There you go. He's
got a franchise in Ohio and he would love to JV with you. Give him a call at 330-603-9923. That's 330-603-9923. Tell Jameson I sent you and go make some money.
Mario, question: I have an Arizona 40-acre raw land deal worth $48,000, and I have it for $28,000 on Zillow for $33,000. Not sure if I should refer it for 25%. I'm a Georgia realtor, or $33,000 and make $5,000 to $10,000 as a wholesale. I think I've seen this one, Mario, because I think you sent it to me. If it says that it's worth $48,000 and it's raw land and it's out there, you need to look at the tax assessor value, and you need to buy it at 10% of the tax assessor. I think it's way lower. I think you need to get it way lower.
Yeah. 40 acres in Arizona at in the 30s. That means this is out in BF AZ.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Probably has no utilities.
Right.
Probably no even road access.
Right.
It's going to be one of those really, really out there. Are you familiar with Jack Bosch?
Yeah. We should have him on.
We should have him on.
I reached out to him a while ago, but I think he's got a lot of guards.
So funny enough, we became friends while we were in Grant Cardone's world, and Jack and I have been communicating. So what we'll do is I'll actually reach out to him and have Jack come on to Wholesale Hotline. He's a phenomenal guy, and he will absolutely help you guys with wholesaling land. Jack has always been in the business of wholesaling land. I know Brent Bowers is another one.
Yep.
He's a part of your roster of folks too.
Yep.
So I would reach out to Brent Bowers. I think you actually have a way better chance of getting a hold of Brent Bowers than you would Jack Bosch right now until we get Jack on the show.
But I've been through Jack's training. He would say 10% of the tax assessor value.
Yeah, that's always it. And it's yeah.
And that's for rural land. Land in town is much different.
Yes.
Because people hear that 10%, they think the 10% of what a fixed up house would sell for on there.
Right.
And it's not. Like literally the tax assessor. And a lot of times tax assessor for this size land is like $2,000. So you got to be at like $200 on these things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you sell it for like, so I did with Jeremy Thornburg, my disposition manager, we did the whole send out offers, and just have them come back and then buy these properties. We got like 4 pieces of land for free. I mean, big pieces of land.
Wow.
And we didn't make anything off them.
Yeah.
We made like $1,500 on them combined because they wanted us to pay the property tax. But you could just send out letters to people for raw land. And it's an interesting strategy, and it's a nice quick win if you want to go down that rabbit hole. It's much different and it's not as profitable by any means, but it's an interesting strategy.
You know who else is a real go-getter for land here in Arizona?
Yeah.
Anthony Papas.
Yeah. I saw Anthony on Friday.
So I don't think I should give his phone number out on because I don't have his permission. But his number is 480-809-7496. Give Anthony Papas a call. He's a land guy here in Arizona. And tell him I'm sorry.
He does some great deals.
He does some great deals. And he's a great guy, actually.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm promoting him. I'm helping him out. He's phenomenal. But see what we do here, guys? Our job is to help you guys connect the dots, to network, to make good money, to do this business at a high level. And we're not the kind of folks that just hold this information to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Our whole reason for doing what we do is to squat up.
Yep.
If you're not squatting up and connecting the dots with other
1.
people, it's step 1, man. You're totally
step 1, squat up,
Yep.
community and a guide, somebody that knows what they're doing and is in a position where you want to be. Step 2, do your first deal. Step 3, fire your boss because you're consistent and you're making enough to where you don't have to be employed anymore. Step 4, build a team and fire yourself from certain roles so that you can go to step 5, where you now have an incredible business that's paying you really great cash flow. And if you can get $500,000 a year in passive cash flow from your business, that's the equivalent of owning $16 million in real estate free and clear. Okay. Is there any doubt in your mind that people could do that in 36 months?
Own 16 million.
No, get to a position where their company can give them cash flow of about $40K a month in 3 years.
They can do that, and they literally, if they work their asses off, they could get done in 6 months.
Right. But how much time would you need to buy that much real estate free and clear?
Forever. I was going through our numbers today. In 2022, Keegley did $38 million. Okay.
Yeah.
Profit, $18.4 million. Okay. Guys, how much real estate would I need to own to make $18.4 million?
You get that through business. You get that from being an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? That's what we get. But you know what? We read the purple Bible, as Jerry calls it, right? And we're like, well, we got to own a bunch of real estate. And then we get down the rabbit hole of trying to own a bunch of real estate, and it's you can go so much faster if you just build a wholesaling business that goes out there, provides incredible value, and you can totally pull yourself out of the day to day. And at that point, go buy some assets.
Yeah.
At that point, go buy some real estate. How about at that point, you go buy some up and coming technologies that are coming in and being an investor and owner in businesses. It's just, there's so much to do. And real estate, I love real estate. I love deals. I'm a deal junkie for sure. But I just know that owning a bunch of real estate is its own business and it's its own attention, and attention management matters in this world. And I'd rather put the attention on my family. I'd rather put the attention on my businesses. I'd rather put my attention on my health, and then, put it into, some assets like real estate. I do. And I think that's the path. Number 1 is community, squad up. Number 2, do a deal. Number 3, fire your boss. Number 4, fire yourself. Number 5, buy some assets.
Brilliant. Can't.
Done.
That's it. You guys just got the whole game.
There you go.
Speaking of a good game, Russ, are you familiar with who Russ is, the rapper?
Yeah.
He's got a new song called "Let Me Put You on Game."
Yeah.
Guys, everybody go listen to that song like 5 times and memorize each one of his pieces of advice. And I feel like your life will become 10 times better at the end of the year if you followed every single line of what he has to say. It's like the most phenomenal song I feel like I've ever heard since like one of Pac's. Anyways,
we should make
so
it
good.
the theme song.
Yeah,
here.
it's great.
They probably wouldn't let us YouTube. Let's finish with Lee.
Lee said, when you get a pocket listing from an agent for the first time, how or what would you guys do with it? You start.
I would put it under contract and I would
Yes.
sell that contract.
Yes, very simple. Put it under contract. Yes.
I mean, listen, I mean, if you're wondering if it's a deal or not, obviously run your numbers and understand what's going on there. But if they give it to you on a silver platter and they ask you how much will you pay for this, and you give them a buy number and they put it together, sell that deal. Go sell that paper.
Yes.
This is the magical part about our business. As soon as a seller and yourself sign an agreement, magic happens. It turns into an asset that you can sell for real dollars.
Yeah.
Out of the ether.
It's crazy.
It's the best business of all time. Name me one business that's better than that. You can't. I'm just telling you. This is the best business of all time.
I will never deny it. I'm a wholesaler for life.
Yep.
Again, how much real estate would I have to own to bring in top line $38 million of profit, $18.4 million? What could I possibly do out in the world that would bring me numbers like that?
That would be a 20-year play.
Yeah.
You would have had to bought a big building back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Sat on it for a long time.
Yeah.
Dealt with all the management of it. Put together probably a crew of 20 people to manage it and keep it clean and keep it maintenance and do all that. And it would probably be a 20, 30-year play.
And just so you guys, for those of you who aren't aware, I started Keegley in 2016.
Right.
And it is 2023.
Yep.
A lot has happened. Manny asked, for someone who is currently deployed, first, Manny, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
What should I be doing? I'm in Pace's free Facebook group and constantly consuming real estate content. Currently rent one property while I'm deployed. Manny, I think Pace would want me to say this to you. Stop consuming content and take some action. My brother, you are in the military, which means that you ain't scared. You take action. You understand what it means to take action and to get out there and get your hands dirty and do the thing. Stop consuming content. Less consuming of content, more action, more action, more action. Squad up. Go make friends with somebody. You're a part of Pace's free community. Why not join his actual community? Why not go join Sub 2? If you're interested in creative real estate, why not do that? Why not go join TTP? Why not take a look at what Astro Flipping could provide you? I mean, again, we're not saying this. Each of us have our own communities and do our own things. But the facts are, bro, you cannot do this alone. You cannot, and especially while you're out and deployed, you're out. You need help. You need support. You need people that are going to be a part of it, a part of what you're doing with you. And I know that there's a lot of people in the Astro community who come from the armed services, and I know there's a lot of TTPers out there who have a similar background, and same with Pace and the Sub 2 community. Go find people you resonate with and get to work, bro.
And one of the most difficult parts when I speak to anybody that is active military is nobody knows what I'm talking about when I get excited and I'm talking about it. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm on an island by myself. I feel like nobody really understands what I'm trying to do. And that's where the community comes in. That's where the community and the guide comes in. So, make the investment and start taking action.
That's it.
Man,
oh man, I'm excited, bro. We have a lot of cool things coming up in the next little bit. Gonna be making some content with Monique Walker for my YouTube channel. Guys,
Awesome.
I'm 100 subs away from 30,000. I know it's a baby channel, but
That's
guys,
awesome.
go and
That's awesome.
go and sub today. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, there's some great fire content out there. Go and subscribe to youtube.com/Jamil Damji. We have that in the comments right now. Please do
if you're
me a
getting
solid.
value, subscribe to
Yeah,
all of us.
All of us. Go
we
subscribe.
all have individual channels that we put stuff out almost on a daily basis.
Exactly. Go subscribe to Brent Daniels' YouTube channel. It's phenomenal. And beyond that, just happy to be here.
Awesome.
Tomorrow we're going to be having a conversation with the producers of Triple Digit Flip and talk about 30 possible new episodes that we might be doing. So that's going to be a good time, good fun.
Is that 3 more seasons?
I don't know what that'll look like.
Woo! Let's get it.
I don't know. It's nothing's official, so we're just having a convo.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. But look, lots of cool things in the horizon.
Awesome.
What about you? What do you got?
Going
coming on?
live Wednesday. That is at noon Eastern time. We'll go live for an hour on Wednesday morning. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. So make sure that you join at 10 o'clock because I will be giving pure instruction on how to communicate better with property owners. So if you have any challenges with that right now, let's get past those challenges. We've got the answers for you. So join us Wednesday, Brent Daniels YouTube channel. When do you go live for Straight Outta Compton?
And finally, for you guys, unfortunately, couldn't go live this last Sunday because I was on a flight from Louisiana, but I will be back on Straight Outta Compton this coming Sunday at 5 p.m. Arizona. Bring your tough to comp properties. Bring me anything that you're looking for a buy price on. We get anywhere between 400 and 500 people show up to Straight Outta Compton every week now, just because they love putting in the reps and learning how to comp the way an actual appraiser does, which especially in a shifting market, guys, learning and understanding how to comp is 1,000% going to change the game for you.
Do not miss it. Straight Outta Compton on Sunday.
And then after that, Pace Morby has his Get Creative podcast. So you could truly watch Straight Outta Compton, and as soon as that's over, join Pace Morby for his Get Creative podcast.
You're
that's
doing it
his,
on Super Bowl Sunday?
This Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah, because who cares? We're comping.
That's it. We're comping. That's it from us, guys. We love you so much. We'll see you next week.
Later.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.